What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Clouded Thoughts podcast. As you guys already know, I'm Deem.
I'm Ry.
We're back again with another guest, another special guest. Before we get to introducing him, though, I gotta ask my dog, how you been? How's life? How we living?
To keep it a stack with you, I'm surviving. You can hear the congestion in my voice.
Jesus.
So, really and truly, I'm thugging it out right now. But other than that, life has been good. No complaints.
I feel like that's some bad timing right before spring really is about to start.
Well, listen, I get it out the way now. When spring's in full effect, I'm good.
I mean, I guess, man.
Exactly.
I hear you.
What about yourself, though?
I'm good, man. I'm well. You know, I'm not sick, unfortunately, like you.
You mean fortunately?
I said unfortunately.
No.
Or fortunately, I'm not sick like you. All right, my fault. But nah, man, I'm good. The sun's starting to come out, you know. Hopefully the snow is done. I pray. Yeah. I took my winter tires off, so I pray the snow is done.
Not fair.
But, you know. Anyways, man, let's get to our guest, man. We have a content creator on the set, man. Someone that, you know, honestly, he does this. He knows exactly what this kind of life is like. I feel like his story is going to be one that's going to be very interesting. We'll get into in depth about a lot of things. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Newby here on the set. How you doing, man?
That is it. I'm doing great, man. I like what you guys did just now. Like, not too many brothers are checking in on their brothers, so take note from these guys, man. I'm doing great. How are you guys doing? You guys are doing great?
Yeah.
Well.
I'm good. I'm well. Before we get into anything, though, we checked up on us. We got to check up on you. So I'm gonna kick it to my boy Ryan. Usually starts with a question. He's going to ask you a question. We get going from there.
So, this question I ask all our guests going forward now is, first things first, what made you want to jump on the podcast? Mm-hmm. And what do you feel like you have to share with not only, I guess, you know, our community, but like with the world in regards to who you are and the things that you've been through?
So the root thing that made me want to jump on the podcast was seeing young black men do something outside of the regular, trying to start from the ground up and build. That made me want to tap in from early. That definitely gave me something like, okay, I like to see this. Let me get involved. Mm-hmm. And the message that I'm trying to push is it's possible to the young black boy, to the young black man, to even the elders. It's possible. Anything is possible once you put your mind to it. And once you believe in yourself, that's it. Like, everything I do is with love. So I feel like once you move like that, you start to see things come back to you in full. Trust me, just take time and work on yourself. That's all.
I love that you said that because I actually, like I said, I peeped your content when you reached out. And I peeped that you were at the freshman event as well.
Yeah, man. Big up freshman, yes.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
And I just saw, like, you know, the little video that you had interviewing people and asking them, like, the Toronto terms. What's the one Toronto term that you would want to get rid of and stuff like that? And I'm just like, okay, you know, this guy's a cool, calm guy. He's doing his thing. Mm-hmm. And like you said, you know, from one brother to another brother, it's always good for us to work with each other, not against each other, and stop trying to compete with each other because at the end of the day, we all we got, right? So we should big each other up. So,
Facts.
You know, appreciate you doing what you're doing and, you know, wanting to come on the pod as well.
Oh, for sure, man.
That's a big time, man. We really do need to start helping each other, though.
Oh, for sure.
Like, sometimes
takes a village, they say, right?
Exactly. Sometimes it feels like crabs in a barrel, man. Like, all stepping on each other. Whereas, like, we can just uplift each other to all do what we need to do. There's enough space for all of us, man.
Facts.
You know? But, hey, man, we're going to start from the beginning for you. You can start from high school, elementary, build all the way up. Yeah, we go all the way back, man. Build all the way up. How you got to where you are, what you went through, struggles. Let us know. Who's Newby, man? Tell us.
Newby is, in a nutshell, an entrepreneur. I've been a people's person since I would say 5 years old. I was sort of forced to get out of my comfort zone. Because I used to cling under my pops' leg when I was a kid, and I didn't have much backbone. And I remember back in the days, in the 90s, we had Caravana, and he would push me to sell his merch because he had his own merchandise. Back then, it was called House of Nubia. So the man would literally give me items like flags, hats, a bunch of apparel, and tell me to sell it from 5 years old to random strangers. Parents back then were telling their kids not to talk to strangers, not my pops. He was telling me to, sell this, sell that, sell that. So that's what gave me a lot of my character. also my mom, she's a saleswoman. She gave me a huge chunk of my character. My brother, I have a lot of brothers, by the way. I'm Jamaican with a Rasta Pops stereotype. I have a lot of brothers, a few sisters. So, like, I took a piece of every single one of them and just became who I am. They were definitely the biggest influences on my life. So, going back to that time, I did that for about, let's say, from 5 years old to about 14, 15. When I hit 10, I asked my pops if he could start paying me. The man goes, here, well, you do good, I'll give you $50. I said, $50 for all of this stuff I'm selling? So I did the math in my head, and I was a smart kid, so I did the math. I was just like, you know what? I'll take the $50, but I'm going to start doubling the price on everything that I sell. And people aren't going to say no to a kid. So I had flags that were being sold for $5. I'm selling them for $10. And back then, you're living nice. So I'm doing that from 10 years old, buying all the reversible, exchangeable belt buckles and the fitteds and the plaid shorts. I was swaggy as a kid. My pops was looking at me thinking I'm selling drugs, but no, man, I was using what he gave me and I turned it into something. And that was definitely what molded who I am as a person, because once you come out of your comfort zone and you start talking to strangers, you learn so much. You'll never learn as much as you can from your immediate circle that you'll learn from a bag of strangers, because everybody knows something that you don't, right? Yeah. So in my latter years now, I would say one thing that people knew me for is, I guess my last name is pretty big amongst the elder crowd, because my brother is somebody that's done like sound clashes and one in Jamaica, Japan. Like, he's very big. So the elder community knew my last name, Newby, and that's what I go by. My first name is Marcus. I don't mind sharing. But yeah, so that's sort of what gave me a little clout. And then high school now, I had to make my own name. I started playing basketball a lot more. I started going out a lot more. I started becoming more of who I am today a lot more. I got into sales myself, a bunch of sales, and from there it was just content after that. And I started off just doing Twitter. A lot of people know me from Twitter. Where do people also know me from? I used to be on Vine. Me and my dog Yadi. Shout out Yadi. You guys probably know Yadi. You know somebody come take a look at this. Yadi reaction. Yeah, that's my dog. So he's actually my godmother's nephew. And when he landed from Jamaica, I gave him that nickname, Yadi, because the man came in the tight up red pants and had his gun finger out looking at me like he wanted to size me up. Oh, man said, "Fuck, Lord have mercy." Yeah, real Yadi still. So I was the one who sort of like gave him like sort of structure and told him, okay, this is how we move over here. So like, let's try to switch up a 1-3. And man, that guy's doing great in terms of content. I'm happy that he hasn't stopped, and he's one of my biggest motivators right now when it comes to that. Yeah. So yeah, like fast forward to today, I started up ClubChat in October 2024, and it's doing decent, getting good feedback. A lot of people are booking me for events, podcasts. A lot have reached out to me, but I always try to look out for the ones that I like. Like, people have reached out and I've declined a lot of times because I feel like their message and my message won't mesh well. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Certain things don't align, and when I see black people, it just makes me feel good, man. Especially when they're on the right path. Mm-hmm. That's all. But yeah, ClubChat is my page. Basically, we interview the public, we interview people of influence, we interview everything, man, and we're just about having a fun time, a good time, because in Toronto there's not enough positivity, I feel. The only way to become booming is if you have controversy behind your name, or if you have politics behind your name. I'm trying to shift that narrative and get those people, because if you look at my page, you'll see a lot of trench babies on that page and be like, how does this guy know such and such? But it's because of who I was before this is how I'm able to link certain people, I feel, personally.
Nah, man, that's a good story, man. And I like the positivity that you're trying to, bring together, because I'm all about that also. But I usually do it through basketball.
That's wavy.
Yeah, I played basketball throughout my whole entire life.
Okay. So you never heard of my bro Jabs Newby?
I've heard about Jabs.
Oh, okay.
That's your brother.
That's my brother.
So, I'm sorry, side story.
Go ahead.
That is crazy. So my mom, your mom worked at the bank?
No, we have two different moms.
Okay, so I think pretty much his mom, like I always heard his name. And I think my mom tried to kind of like get me in contact when I was in the ball scene as well. And she was always talking about Jabs. I'm just like, okay, like I keep seeing him, I keep hearing about him, but I never got to connect with him. And it's crazy. Like I actually seen him one time when I went to what's that mall near in the Etobicoke there? Is it Sheridan?
Sherway?
Yeah, Sherway. So I seen him and I just kind of hailed him. But like we never met each other, but like his face looked familiar. I'm just like, you know.
From you see our eyes, all of us have the Newby eyes.
Oh yeah.
All of us have the Newby eyes.
But that's crazy. That's a small world. I always heard about him.
Because I've never met him personally, but if you hoop, you hear about people who hoop, right?
For sure,
I've heard about Jabs before.
Yeah, Jabs he's a Brampton legend, Jane and Shepherd legend. If you know, you know, man. That guy's a goat.
Nah, he's nice.
He definitely is. Definitely is.
But yeah, man, like use basketball for positivity. You know,
for sure.
It's the easy way to do it because you make so many connections. And I know for myself, like the basketball world sometimes can be very, very toxic. Oh, right. And I know I'm not like that. And I wanted to, use my influence with the basketball world in a positive way. So a lot of guests you might find on this podcast, they've played basketball at some point in their life or been involved with sports, right? Because I know for myself, like I went through my own trials and tribulations with sports, with basketball. It's who I am also. But, I learned so much through it. I realized I can use that and push positivity through that. For sure. Right? So, like, with your side of positivity, I'm all for that. I love to hear it, and I'm happy you came on our podcast, man.
It's the least, man. It's the least any one of us could do because I believe in paying things forward, and a lot of people that were bigger than my platform reached out to me, and I feel like that's what it should be like. It shouldn't be a weird type of way where it's just like, okay, I have more followers than this guy, more engagement, why am I reaching out? That doesn't matter. And bro, eventually you're gonna see these people be bigger than you if they're consistent, and a lot of people fall off. So I'm not watching your thing like these guys can never be bigger than you guys. Could be bigger than me next week. Something could go viral just like that. You know what I mean? So always, man, if the love's there, it's there.
I think in avenues like this specifically, and even you mentioning like in Toronto how we don't have a lot of positive things. We see like the 6 Buzz post and it's just like it's bare politics, people going back and forth and stuff like that. But I think where we're at now with this new mindset, even what you saying, if next week we're bigger. It's like now we could use what we have going on to help boost you up because you got something going on, right? So it's just like, yo, man's a positive man. I want to see his thing take off too. You know what? Yo, fam, listen, we have a event coming up this and the third. I already know what you're capable of. Come set up shop. Come do your thing. Boom. We'll chat after. Cool. You see, and it's really that simple. But there's the egos get involved and people want to be at the top and leave other people here just to say I'm the man. But it's like, it's lonely at the top. Exactly. You see what I'm saying?
I literally posted something that I don't want to make it to the top by myself. I want to see familiar faces with me, right? So that's a big thing. It's a very big thing.
So I like this pivot right here. Being a content.
That's it.
Exactly. Right? Bro. So being a content creator, right? He mentioned 6 Buzz and how, with 6 Buzz, there's some positivity, but majority of it is negative. That's what sells, unfortunately.
I've actually spoke about this on a podcast. I don't know if you guys know the Gifted Gab. They're actually big. They're from the West End too. Andre and Alex. These guys they're some dope guys.
Andre Kelly?
Yeah, the Hooper. You don't know?
I know Andre Kelly. I didn't know that was his podcast though.
Yeah, he's a co-host. Yeah, so basically, they asked me how did I feel about 6 Buzz, and I was fending for 6 Buzz because although they do push controversy, what does Canada really have? We didn't have a World Star Hip Hop before 6 Buzz. What did we have? You know what I mean? And I feel like even though a lot of the stuff they push is nonsense, they gave us a platform now. You know what I mean? Like I'm pro-Canadian, pro-Jamaican. So like anything that we sort of have, even if it's nonsense, I'm there for it. I'm gonna stand beside it. I'm gonna stand. Yeah, that's how I feel. Yeah.
Because my question was gonna be like, given that you push positivity, right?
Yeah.
Do you find it a little difficult to push that positivity and where people's viewership goes more towards, oh, this is interesting because it's negative and I can watch it, rather than, hey, this is positive and I can share this more? Because I've seen that a lot on social media where more negative stuff gets pushed than positive. So do you find that a little, like, there's a little struggle there?
You gotta find your balance, because there's always something being pushed, whether it's negative or positive. You just gotta wait for your community to find you. Yeah. Like, I have good engagement, but my community hasn't even found me yet, because some people, they'll see you post, but you want people to ask, yo, when's the next event? When can I pop up? Can you come to my event? You know what I mean? These are the questions you want being asked. So it's just like, I don't really look at anybody's thing and say, oh, it's watering down my thing, because they want the madness. They want the controversy. Like, my engagement will come. Just be consistent. That's all.
Yeah, consistency is definitely key for sure.
Yeah, we're learning that with this, man. Consistency and discipline, man. You need those two.
You can't even look at the engagement. I'm not going to lie. When I first started, because people knew who my face, like, they knew me by face. When I first started, the engagement went wham, like it was out of here. And then it slowly started to die down, and my boy Yachty, he was just like, yo fam, stop pre the engagement, it's gonna mess up your mets. Just post. So that's all I did. And then it started to pick up again. Like, it's really like the stock market. It goes up and then it goes down. You can't let it play with your head. Just literally just post. Literally. That's all.
Yeah, that's something we're learning the slow way, man. We're understanding, like, the more consistent you are at the post, whether they get 1 view or 1,000 views or 2,000, doesn't really matter, man. Continue to do it, and if you love it, it's even better, right?
It's crazy. Like, I've had somebody reach out to me based off of a video that only had like 1,000 views, and they were just like, yo, bro, this video had me dying. I need you at my event. And I'm like, word, that one didn't even do too good. Like, I'm like, all right, no worries, for sure. Yeah, man, it's crazy.
Sometimes though, people will see, like, because everybody's perspective is going to be different, right? And sometimes, you know, I should put it like this. I feel like sometimes we downplay, like, the work that we do, because we're looking at it and we're our biggest critics.
Yep.
So sometimes that one video that you put out to use, like, yeah, whatever, but to like 5-10 people, yo, that could have changed somebody's day. That could be like, wow, yo, I love the production, I love the questions, I love everything about it, right? And that's what comes with content creating. It's like, sometimes you just gotta put it out there and just let it be. If it does the numbers, it does the numbers, and so be it. And I remember, like before we started, you were kind of asking, like, you know, I'm gonna pivot a little bit, by the way.
Brandon, go ahead, man.
Is that something you guys say often? I'm gonna pivot. You guys should throw that on a T-shirt, bro.
We say it a lot. We say it a lot.
I think about things. I'm like, okay.
We say it a lot.
Yeah, because I do another podcast, like, on Twitter as well.
Fire.
On like, it's just straight audio. With
Yeah. On the, what do they call it?
It's like a space.
That's what it when it goes to the top of the screen type thing. Yeah, that's what's called space. Okay. Yeah.
So pretty much, my cousins on there, they always use that word pivot. So now I find myself kind of just like gravitating using that.
I mean, it fits because we both hoop, so.
Yeah,
exactly. I like that. As soon as I heard it, I was like.
But nah, just in regards to like, even why we started this, I think it was something that we realized, you know, people weren't really talking about. And at first, when you start something, it's just, you kind of have that mindset of, yo, I want this to be big. Like, I want us to, in a sense, be popular, you know, quote unquote, right? Not saying that's the main objective, but like, that comes with it. But then it's like, you start doing these things and you start hearing people's stories, and then it becomes bigger than me and him.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So now, like, even before this, I'm sitting down, before you pulled up, I was sitting down with him. I'm like, yo, we got to start doing things to get like a bigger reach, you know? Because people are coming on our podcast and they're speaking real life shit.
For sure.
You know? And not a lot of people have the courage to come on a space or a podcast and be vulnerable and tell their stories. Some of the darkest things that they probably never shared with somebody, right? But now they feel comfortable enough to come sit down with us and speak about it. Like, that means a lot. So for me now, I'm looking at it like, yo, bro, how can we get this out? So it's just like now people can actually get the help that they need. Because it's one thing to sit down and talk about it and air it out.
For sure.
But if we don't have the proper tools going forward, then it's just like, yeah, we're just talking about it, but there's no action behind it. So I think it starts off where we've started, but now there's more to come with it, right? And I think that's one of the next steps for us going forward. So that's kind of what, got us into wanting to do the podcast.
That's beautiful, bro. Real talk. That's
just to have stuff, have people share their stories, and a lot of men go through the same things, and it's cool that we could sit down and talk and laugh about it, whether it be about something that happened on the ball court or whatever happened with the next man. To actually sit down and have real life conversations that can actually change somebody's life for the better, I think it's an important thing to have, and that's what I kind of love about what we're doing.
For sure.
It's no turning back now, man. We're too far in. There's no turning back now, man.
Can't, bro. Especially when you guys are doing great, great work.
Yeah.
Just keep it flowing, man. It will evolve. It's inevitable. I promise you.
Appreciate that, man. All right. I wanna tap more into your childhood a little bit now, because we understand, especially from a West Indian household, our childhood plays so much of an impact on who we are as men. Right? Whether good, bad, ugly, it don't matter. It has a huge impact. Right? So you mentioned that your dad had you out there during Carabana days selling flags. You even raised your price a little bit. So so how did that kind of, help you being older now, having your own business, having your old kind of, flow going now? How did that, one couple instances selling flags with your dad help you to be who you are right now, whether positive or negative?
I'm very optimistic, so I can't draw too much negativity away from it. I feel like a lot of people in this day and age are closed-minded, so they'd probably look at their parents and be like, oh, you're using me as an object, and that's not the type of person. I always draw light from the dark, so the positivity that I drew from it was basically the fact that I'm no longer, and for a long time now, I'm no longer afraid of rejection. Like that fear of rejection, like a lot of guys miss out on opportunities because they're afraid of hearing no. They're afraid of being rejected in general. You know what I mean? I don't have that in me. Like I will shoot a shot until my wrist is broke. I will shoot forever. That's all. So that's one of the biggest things for me that I drew from there. Yeah,
man, because there's so many people in this world, especially with men. I'm gonna be honest, especially with black men. We have so many good ideas, so many skills and talents, but they sit dormant in our brains because we're too scared or fear that we're gonna get judged, or it's not gonna work out, or it's gonna take too long to get it. Like, no, man, the best thing you can do is start.
Facts. You know what my favorite slogan is? Nike, just do it. That's the sweetest slogan, bro. Just do it. And Nike, if you see me, man, hey, hey, yo, it's the prettiest slogan, bro. Just do it. Like, just do it. But if I just do it, come on, man. Literally, that's all.
Especially you being in the content creator space, there's people are gonna judge what you do. It's going to happen, man. Like, a lot of people might not like what you do. End of the day, that can't stop you, man.
You can't please everybody, though.
You can't please everyone, bro. Not everyone can be happy, man. So I'm happy, you learned that kind of aspect from your pops. You drew something positive from it rather than from negative. Because
even when things get grim, dark, nasty, I always look for the positive because things could get worse. And I always encourage people to travel, especially to the third world countries, something like even Jamaica or a Mexico, and come off at a resort with somebody that's familiar with the area, see their standards of living, and understand how much better you have it, how fortunate you are to be born and raised in a first world country where certain things you don't have to fear. Like, I see kids 5 a.m. in the night in Mexico selling things so that their parents could pay rent. You know what I mean? It was never that bad. It was never that bad for me personally. Like, I've had tough times, but it gets a lot tougher, and that's when you start to open your mind. Like, yo, bro, honestly, it's not that bad.
Yeah, yeah, because we're big on perspective, man.
Oh, for sure.
That's my word. He'll tell you everything's about perspective, and it's crazy that you even spoke about Jamaica because when I was a youth, I used to spend summers in Jamaica with my grandma. So you probably know how they got rid of their trash, how you have to throw everything in the field, kind of bun it down, all of that. When it came to going to the bathroom, there's like a little shed. Well, for me, there was a little shed that we had to go out to, and I was terrified of that little shed, bro, because I don't know what's creeping in there, you know.
Right, yeah. Where's your grandma from?
She's she lived in Portland.
Portland, okay.
Yeah, so I just remember being out there as a youth, and it's just like, you know, it wasn't as easy as, yo, I'm gonna come downstairs and warm up some food, take something out the fridge, you know. We had to go to the market, take the bus. Exactly. My biggest thing was because she lived right across the street from the bar. From time to time she would throw me a little change and say, go grab yourself a bun and cheese and a ting, a bag juice. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, no, it's definitely different. And when I compare it to living in Canada and having that experience in Jamaica, it's like I'm thankful, but I also realize that even going back to Jamaica, you still have to keep that perspective open because there's places that are worse than Jamaica, right?
Facts.
You see what I'm saying? Exactly. So I'm looking at it as much as I had to go to a shed, the beach is in the backyard. Mm-hmm. I could walk down to the beach. There's restaurants on the beach. You see what I'm saying? Mango deso. Aki growing, breadfruit, everything. You see it? Coconut, you just shake the tree, drop. Yo,
you guys are making me hungry, bro.
You see what I'm saying? But that when it comes to that word perspective, I really hold it close to me because, as you said, you try to draw light from the dark, from them dark places, and it's a tough thing to do, but if you're able to do that, man, you'll get out of your worst times, So, yeah, big up on that.
That's really how you get out of dark times.
Yeah, man. There's been times where I didn't know how I was going to pay a bill, and I was just like, yo, remember that time you thought you were going to die? You're here, bro. You'll be fine. Life goes on. It always does. Always does. I'm telling you.
Bro, that's huge, man. Dark times, man. And actually, you know those ones? Pivot. So, you're speaking on dark times, man, because being a content creator or just being an entrepreneur, you're gonna go through dark times.
Oh, for sure.
It's gonna happen, right? There may have been days where you ain't sell no flags. There may be days where you're content creating where, you have great content, but it's missing something. Or you upload it, it doesn't get the likes you like, even though you don't watch the views, but it didn't do as well as you thought it would. Or you thought you saved something, it wasn't saved, right? So speak on some of the dark times that you might have had, right? Maybe content creating, even maybe with your pops, that you were able to, think back on I really pulled myself out of that. I was able to change my perspective and really dig myself out.
Honestly, bro, there's so many different dark times that I've experienced, whether it's just growing up as a young black man. Even I wouldn't even call the content creating thing dark. It was more of a damn an annoyance. I should have known better. I should have double triple checked. Yeah. Because I was saying before the pod even started, there was days where I'd shoot the full day. The mic wasn't connected to the camera. I shot a full clip thinking I hit record. I didn't hit record. There was silly little mishaps, but yeah, man, growing up, I've always either been in Toronto or I've either lived in Toronto, because there's times where I lived in the suburbs too, but family's over there. I'm either in the trenches and then I'm back in the suburbs because I've lived back and forth between Brampton, Toronto my whole life. There's been times where it's just people you grow up with and good people are passing, and it's just bro, he didn't deserve this. He was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, literally that. And it's I have this thing that I read on. It's called Survivor's Guilt, and it's sort of from time to time I reflect on life and I'm just damn, bro died, and it's sort of weird. Sometimes I look at it it should have been me type thing, because he was such a good individual. Why did he have to go? You know what I mean? Like it's really something that I looked at and I was like, damn, I didn't think this was something that other people think about or go through. Like something like if you guys look it up, survivor's guilt, it's real, man. It plays with your head because when you're seeing people from a young age go, like it's not a good feeling at all. Like even in high school, the things that I was so desensitized to, it's trippy as a young adult. Now I'm looking at it like, wow. Like, bro, I was a kid and I was so okay with certain things. I should have never been okay with certain things. School's getting put on lockdown and I'm fine with that. Like, we're laughing, making jokes under our desk. Who's he gonna, you know what I mean? Like people are walking through the school. Like, it was crazy, man. Shout out Emory though, Weston and Finch. It was a fun school, but it was treacherous. It was treacherous, man. It was wild.
Wow. Mm-hmm. You got a question? I got a question.
No, go ahead.
I got you. Cause, like, I'm just thinking, like, so I've been seeing a psychotherapist for the last couple of months, because I wanna dive deeper into who I really am in terms of from my childhood. Cause I think back in my childhood, I think I built coping mechanisms that I didn't know were there until I was older now to look back like, oh, that's how I used to cope. Like, I probably shouldn't have been in that situation and dealing with like that. And I probably just buried that or suppressed those thoughts. I'm trying to figure out what they're like, right? So my question right now for you is, you express as a child, you may have been situations where, you probably shouldn't have been laughing at the situation or been in it. You think the reason why you're so positive now was maybe a coping mechanism from back then, whereas like if I go through a difficult situation, I know I can find peace in the positivity or peace in laughing.
Oh,
right?
For sure.
So, you think that may have been a coping mechanism based on the trials and tribulations that you went through as a child or adolescent?
I feel like, and it was a quote that I read. Somebody said the people that usually go through the most smile the most, and they're just wearing a mask, bro. It's like you have to look into somebody's eyes to see the pain. Like very few people see it, but if you've been through certain things, you could almost see it. You know what I mean? So it's just like for me, like laughing is my bread and butter. I love to laugh, and that's why I also started ClubChat, because when I make people laugh, it makes me feel complete, bro. Like it's such a great feeling seeing anybody that's close to me, even strangers, laugh. If you walk with me for 10 minutes down the road, I've made a stranger laugh twice. Literally 10 minutes. That's all I need. Like, bro, like I will see somebody in sneakers that I love and I'm like, yo fam, those kicks are fire. Like, and I don't know this person from nowhere. Like, that's just who I am as an individual. Like, I don't mind throwing out compliments, whether it's a man or a woman. Like, I'm not in it to just be weird and stand off. I'm the type of person I want people to feel warm when they're around me, That's literally it. So
it's the little things that you do that can make somebody's day, for real.
Yeah, that was definitely a big coping mechanism for me growing up. Yeah, just laughing off the pain. That's it.
Yeah, because I definitely wanted to bring that up because there's a lot of young black men, a lot of young men that might be in the trenches, might have a bunch of friends, family members, fathers pass away when they're at a young age, and they may not know how to get out of that. Right, and your emotions at that age are always fluctuating when you're an adolescent, so you don't know how to cope, how to handle, how to deal, or what to do. Right, so I'm happy to hear that you found it through positivity and found it through laughter, and were able to actually build something out of that now at your big age now, right, where you can give that positivity back, right, because I've talked to a variety of the young folks, young kids. Because I've coached young kids, and thank you. And they've been in some situations where I was like, I don't even know how I would survive through that.
Trust me, I actually coached too, for a short period. Guard Up TV.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah. I have a story for Guard Up TV. Those are my folks, man. I rock with Guard Up TV. But I coached for Guard Up TV. We had a summer league team, 2 years. I helped out with that, and growing up, my whole life, not my whole life, but mid-teens, like 16 till about 23, I was working as a child and youth care worker. So basically, I was in those at-risk communities, helping kids sort of see the light. And because I lived certain experiences similar to theirs, I was able to relate to them on a personal level. And a lot of them respected me for that. They were telling me things that they wouldn't tell other counselors because they felt like that would get back to someone, and now their brother or their sister is twined up for something. You know what I mean? So, yeah, things like that's definitely helped mold who I am today. So I'm grateful for it, man.
That's big time, man. Just being back in the youth and giving them some insight, some guidance.
Trust me, I love it, man.
Right? Because, when they see someone kind of, not kind of, but someone that looks like them, someone that maybe has been through similar situations as
Trust
them,
me.
they're able to open up more and able to express themselves more because they need it, man. I mean, this day and age, I think as a youth is more difficult for us just due to social media, I feel like. Right? There's so many.
Honestly, I feel like
Get a rebuttal that.
our era, yeah, I feel like in our era it was a lot darker, bro. It was a lot darker.
You think so?
Pardon?
The World Star era?
I'm not even just talking about World Star. I'm talking about Toronto in general.
Just in general?
Brother, a lot of the times when I reevaluate the situation,
Yeah.
a lot of people within our age bracket, they weren't working. They were playing the block.
I mean,
They did not have jobs.
I was around hoopers a lot. So,
okay.
You know,
See, I
was
used
away
to
from
hoop
that.
in the trench too.
And I was in the suburbs, so I'll be honest.
I was hooping outside more than I was hooping inside. Jazz was the indoor hooper. He was the hooper. Like I was the analog mixtape street. Like you know,
I hear you.
So it's like I seen like my pops didn't like it, but I was outside with people from my age till about 50, and everybody was just on the block. That was the norm back then.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of things were going, a lot of things were happening. And it's just like, as a youngin', you don't really take in how messed up this is.
You don't.
And I didn't understand why my pops didn't approve of it. Because to me, we were all one big family. Like, we're having barbecues. A bunch of things are going on. And we don't think nothing of it.
Yeah.
But it's just like, bro, you have to understand that as a young man, like, anything could happen at any moment.
You're not wrong, man.
Like, the awareness isn't there for a lot of us.
It's
No,
not.
it's not.
It's not.
But yeah, going back to the actual child and youth care work that I did, like a lot of these kids that I used to like watch and help grow and encourage to do positive things, a lot of them are rappers now. That's how like a lot of my videos, I got certain collabs through that network. It's crazy, full circle. Like I've had a kid DM me like, "Oh, you don't remember that time you bought me a Nike Tech fleece?" And I'm like, nah, I don't remember that. Like a lot of things I do, they're out of the kindness of my heart. Like a rapper from the city, he hit me up when I used to work at Regent Park. He's just like, "Yo, bro, you bought me Jordans and a fitted. You had no business doing that, but you did that." You know, like I was spoiling a lot of them because I worked at Foot Locker too. If you work in any type of child and youth care work, you can't just work that for your full-time job. You need something else. You know what I mean? So yeah, so I was spoiling them in a way, buying them candy, clothes, whatever, like to keep them following the right path. Like I would talk to their parents, their principals, their teachers, and see what was going on, because a lot of them again reminded me of me. Yeah. Like I used to do a lot of foolery because I was rebellious when my pops left. I was super rebellious because that was my best friend. Like we were locked. So when he left, I was just like, nah, F this. Like I'm doing anything to, you know what I mean? So I was tweaking. Huh? Honestly, I was a good youth before him. I didn't know. I feel like heartbreak is essential. Everybody needs to get their heart broken because it unlocks a different. You guys rock with anime? Yeah. It's like Sasuke. He needed to kill his brother to be who he is. He needed, and Itachi knew that. He needed to do certain things to unlock his true potential. Even though Itachi did all of these things to set him up for greatness, Sasuke didn't know that. And then he found out later on. Like if you don't catch the references, you gotta go back and watch this stuff because it's deeper than the message. And a lot of people overlook anime, but the messages are for grown folk. They're not for kids, bro. It's big. Like
What's your go-to anime?
Brother, holy, I have my moods, but let's say Attack on Titan recently slipped its way in my top 5. I slept on that anime so many different times, but brother, when you finish it, everything makes sense. It takes so long. Like,
so there's one. Cam actually put me onto it. Cam's a big anime guy. There's Death Note.
Oh, Death Note's in my top 5.
Death Note.
Yeah.
I remember when I was getting my tat. He had it running. I'm just like, yo. I kept asking him questions. He's like, fam, just watch the thing, fam.
Brother, it's fine.
And I'm just because Death Note's one of those shows like it'll really show you what people would do if you give them too much power.
Oh, for sure.
And it's a scary thing. And it's like when I was watching it, I'm sitting there like, so you could you have the opportunity to take somebody's life, but you have the opportunity to kind of decline it too. Like, which one are you gonna do?
Right.
So he said, so man started playing with fire, and then
right, man started playing God. Ooh. Like he really felt like somebody that he shouldn't have felt like.
Exactly.
Really
Sorry, dude. I know you're not.
Look, man. Look,
I can talk about anime all day.
Look,
bro.
man. I tried to tap into anime,
brother. You
and
didn't
I just
try the right
couldn't
ones, I promise
do it. I tried.
What,
you
tried
off with
Death
One
Note?
Piece or something.
It was One Piece. I tried One Piece.
Not One Piece. Not One Piece.
It was
That's
One
the
Piece.
Worst. That's the
now
worst.
Now he said it's the worst. You're saying try. See, you see, I don't know.
So what would you suggest?
I would give him some short. Naruto's a good anime, but I wouldn't start him. I wouldn't start him on.
Alright.
I wouldn't start him on Naruto.
What would you start him on?
I would start you on something like Erased. You ever watch Erased?
The name sounds familiar.
It's a short, sweet anime, and that's what gets people hooked. The things that don't have as many episodes, there's no fillers. It's content the whole time. It's like, oh, I'm tapped in. Like that's what's gonna happen next episode. Okay. Erased is the big one to start on, and Death Note. Death Note is fire. I might start Death Note. I could try. Death Note is in my top 5.
Because during COVID, I tried. I really did.
Nah,
read the captions. I tried all of it, bro.
Nah, honestly, I stopped watching what's it called, sub Japanese dub, English sub, because I don't have the time. A lot of people are just like, oh, you're not watching the real stuff. I'm just like, bro, I don't have the time. I'm editing stuff. I'm outside. I'm making stuff happen. So
you're no caption
I'm like
type of guy.
listening. I'm listening while I'm editing. Like, it's too much going on for me to just sit down and watch something. Like, I don't watch anything fully. Nothing has my undistracted attention.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I don't have time for that.
Fair.
So I'm not alone with that, bro. I tried reading the captions and things. That just wasn't for me, bro. I couldn't do it.
If you're a kid and you started like that, I get it, but that's how I started too.
Because for me, like, I was always big on like drawing Magna.
Oh, that's
yeah. So like when I was a youth, you guys definitely remember Scholastics.
I was jamming that place like peanut butter. Holy smokes! I was.
My pops would throw me a change. I used to get those drawing books.
Lucky.
But your man them had to beg.
Beg, bro. My mom would tell me to ask my pops, and I know what that meant. You know what I mean? Right.
So yeah, I used to grab those books, and then I used to like draw Dragon Ball Z characters a lot.
Fire.
So Trunks, Vegeta, my top 2.
Okay.
But yeah, I was just really big into the Dragon Ball Z. My older brother had put me on Gundam Wing.
Oh, Gundam Wing was fire.
That was a solid show. There's one that used to come on Saturdays. That one too, that was fire. But there's I think it's called like Ultimate Fighter, something like that.
You mean Shaman King? Ultimate Muscle.
Ultimate Muscle, yes. There we go. I can never remember the name of it.
That one was so silly.
It was silly, but yo, honestly, like I remember waking up Saturday mornings, it was on Fox. I'm just like, yo, watching that.
Man, we're gonna turn this into an anime pod. We should pivot. No, we should. What's bro, quiet, man. We should pivot. Little triple threat, you know.
You guys done?
Yeah, I could go on for days, but I peep things, you know. I was like, let me not leave, bro.
Nah, it's okay, bro. I'm all for it. Sorry, bro. Sorry. It is all good. But yo, here's the thing. Content creator, you ask a lot of questions to the public and to people. We're gonna flip this.
For sure.
Do you have questions for us?
I feel like I asked you guys the good questions before the pod even started. You know what? Let me think. You know what? Let me spin back on that. You guys ask me a couple more, and I'll spin back on that. I got you guys. Because I don't want to ask you guys the generic questions that I ask people on road. Like, I want to ask you guys something. Yeah.
Okay, then. Man, you guys really went real
crazy,
deep, bro. I could speak all day about anime, bro.
I'll put it this way.
Don't go back into anime, bro.
Nah.
Yeah, we hit that pivot. Button. You can't
pivot again.
I would say, it's somewhat of a general question, but as far as like, the mental health space goes, for men, not only black men, just men in general.
For sure.
What's one thing that you want to see change when it comes to that conversation about men's mental health?
I feel like, especially amongst the black community, men need to stop overlooking it. I've been to therapy before. I would never knock it because a lot of us, we're taught to just suck up our tears.
Yeah.
Oh, you want something to cry for? That's what we're raised on.
They give you something for crying.
Yeah, you want something for crying. You know what I mean?
Like, all heard that.
Yeah, we all grew up hearing something along those lines. And I can't blame, and this is what gave me peace. I can't blame the previous generations because we're not too far from slavery. And I tell people this all the time. Stop hating your pops because he's not too far from slavery. And if that's what he was doing to you, imagine what was happening to him. That's what gave me peace. I'm not going to lie. I had to open my mind and think well outside the box. And I swear to God, like it will make you breathe a lot better. As a youngin', I used to smoke weed before like a lot of people were. I started when I was 14. I had no business smoking weed, like, but because I didn't know how to release that chest pain, that was my thing. Now I don't drink. Well, I barely drink. Let me say that. I don't smoke weed at all. I don't do none of these drugs. Like as a youngin', I used to, not no big drugs, but weed. I was smoking weed regular, and it's just like when you come to a point in life and you're just like, I don't need this stuff. Like, I really have it a lot better than what I seen it for. You'll be able to breathe a lot better. If you need therapy, don't let anybody fool you. Go and get it done, man. Go and do it for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, we're both big on that. He started first.
I started therapy because I had a whole bunch of shit to unpack. And I started off with a female therapist, switched over to a male therapist.
I got a black man. I literally typed in black male therapist, literally.
Yeah, I got an older female therapist because she reminds me of my grandma who passed away. So I feel like I can connect better with her. Hey, man, it's different for everybody.
No,
right?
100%.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate that.
So yeah, in regards to like therapy, I feel like I'm just so big on it now because I seen what it was able to help me do. Just in regards to like releasing a lot of the things that I had, bind up in a sense, like, and it's crazy that you said, coming to peace with how, your parents kind of dealt with you. I think I feel like even at this day, like to this day, I don't know if I've fully forgiven my pops, and I know there's a time.
I feel that, bro.
There's definitely a time for it, but like, it's a matter of me finding it within myself to be like, okay, like I understand the cards you were dealt, and like you tried your best, but I feel like with me even saying that, it's still not good enough for me.
I feel like even though you're saying that, you don't believe it. You know how people will say certain things to cope with what they're going through? You need to believe those words. You need to understand what you're actually saying, because for the longest time, it's not like I didn't know my pops lived a tough childhood or adolescence, but I had to really deep. This guy was going through some real stuff, like in Jamaica, like his generation, it was chaotic, especially if you lived in the city. The police, they were going at the civilians.
He was in
going
Kingston.
at them. Yeah, Kingston. Okay. Yeah, they were going at the civilians like it was bad. And just for being outside. Just for having fun. Like little things, like, and it became worse when he turned Rasta. Like you have to really deep, like, we are not too far from slavery. Like what our parents went through, we could not compare.
Yeah.
Nah.
Not in terms of how they were raised. Like I'm sure like there's certain things that happened outside of how your parents raised you. For me, like I've been through things that my mother's never been through. But how she raised me was a lot more gentle than how her mother and how her father raised her. How my pops raised me was a lot more gentle than how his pops and how his mother raised him. You know what I mean?
For me, it's like, it's kind of, well, as far as my mom goes, yeah, she's always been a gentle soul. My pops, on the other hand, because I was his first child and I had older brothers and they had their own pops.
Okay.
I feel like because my eldest brother, like, he had a big influence on me. And the thing is, he kind of like strayed down a path where he wanted to be a guy.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? He always wanted to be that guy, and then that comes with the rebellious behavior. Like, I'm stepping out on road. You guys can't tell me what to do. You're not my pops. You can't tell me how to move. You see what I'm saying? So
that's the line.
But with that happening now,
Jesus,
I got the short end of the stick because you are my older brother, and I'm looking up to you, and my pops is seeing what's taking place. Now, this is where the ass whoopings come in, because
He doesn't want you to
God forbid I turn out anything like him and I start thinking I could talk to you anyway and anyhow and move in a certain way. So for me, it's like,
took it out on you.
he took it out on me, and then it's like, I think the parenting style is like, what is it? Authoritarian, I believe it is. Parenting style. I think that's the name of it. Forgive my mispronunciation, but
Authoritarian.
I thought, yeah, there you go.
Oh,
I'm not.
okay.
Yeah. So he kind of had that parenting style with me, and it was one of those ones where it's just like, yo, I have to do this, this, and this just to get a little bly. So when I was in my private school,
Watcha. Nice.
like that, those are the steps he took because he didn't want me in the public school system. Right?
Yeah. That's I respect that.
So it's just like I was thankful for it, but it got to the point where he gave me the choice. He's like, yo, do you want to keep going to private school or do you want to go to public school? I think
Why did he give you that choice?
because I was getting older, and he's just like, okay, like, I know you've learned a lot here. Don't mind that. I know you learned a lot here, but going forward now, if you feel like you can, keep the same mannerism and keep up the work ethic going to a public school, by all means, you can make that transfer over, right? So
Was it something that you wanted?
I think I wanted it as a youth because I was getting tired of like my private school, I loved it to death, but like, the discipline.
Military private school. It wasn't a military
Holy
private school.
smokes! Like
Similar.
the way the principal would scorn you sometimes if you did bad on the test, like she would shame you, like
in front of people or?
the whole class.
Yo.
Would
walk into the
because she would come into class and read out test results. So now man, them are like, yo, if you get 2 out of 10 for whatever reason because you didn't understand this unit of math. Yo, bro, everyone's looking at you funny. You're not going out for recess, eh? You see what I'm saying? And
That's wild.
I was a good youth, but I also, I got myself into trouble. So I do remember my fair share of, sitting outside her office and writing lines.
Oh, my mom used to make me write lines.
You know what I'm saying? And then, there's times where after school, everyone's outside. I'm in a classroom, empty classroom, writing my lines. I got to do 8-10 pages of lines.
You ever get your can I cuss or? You ever get your ass beaten and have to write lines after that?
Yeah. Well, fam, I slept good.
What type of You're sobbing while you're writing these things. It's like
On the page.
I promise I'll never throw stones at birds at school again. I promise I'll never, brother. The bag of things, cause.
Worse, man.
It definitely is. But yeah, that was, like I said, man, just to circle back to where it all started, I feel like
Pops.
I don't know if I'm not going to say I don't know if I will. I don't know when that time is going to come where I'm able to accept, Pops, I get it. You raised me in a certain way, and I know you have my best interests at heart. Yeah. But, really and truly, it kind of mashed me up. And then also, the things that I was exposed to just from what he was doing, and I was doing it, indirectly. It kind of, my life kind of panned out in a weird way where it's just, I started doing things that I didn't expect myself to do.
I'll tell you this, though. Because I know, my story in terms of my pops.
Yeah.
And me, giving him grace. Because my dad had a mental breakdown, a couple months ago. Right. It's all right. It happens. Right. But I've given him grace because I've realized, in therapy and looking back on my life, he's always mentioned to me, I'm raising you basically the way that I wasn't raised. Because his pops wasn't in his life. Right. So me hearing that now, being older, understanding, you know what? You did what you could.
Literally.
You did what you could. Right. And me, either belittling you, shaming you, holding that against you is not good for you. And it's not good for me because that's a huge weight on my shoulder. So I've been giving him grace. So what I'm telling you is you kind of holding that burden is just an extra weight.
No, for sure.
On your shoulder. Right. And I know it's going to be at your timing on when you're able to, release that weight, give him grace. Sure. But it is a sigh of relief when you're able to do that because the better you understand, they did what they knew at the time and what they could because there's no manual on raising the kid.
There isn't.
You have no idea how your kid's going to turn out. No. Right? And even now at our older age and us trying to express ourselves to our parents, right, they may not understand that because the times are also different.
And they're also stuck in their ways.
They're stuck in their ways.
The thing that somebody always told me is, if the ship has sailed, just leave it alone. Like, they're stuck in their mentality, just leave it alone. And I love my mom to death. There's certain things that you can never shift her mind about. And she's such a beautiful person if you meet her, but sometimes she's very spicy. She'll say the wrong thing at any given moment. You know, Jamaican parents, like, they don't business. They'll tell you whether it could be a good thing, like, oh, there's a booger in your nose. But, mom, you could have brought them to the side, and you know what I mean? Like some people, what? You know, that's how some people carry themselves. But yeah, man, like you were saying, I feel like great minds, because I was going to jump in and say this something similar at your own time, brother, because for me, it wasn't an overnight thing. Yeah. I was fighting that for majority of my life. Some people have mommy issues. I had daddy issues, bro. Yeah. Like I was really struggling trying to understand, like, why would my best friend just up and leave? Why would my best friend deal with me the way he dealt with me growing up? Like, you're my dog. Like, why are you acting like this? And I used to try and understand him. You know what I mean? So it's like, you come to an age and you realize certain things. And I'm happy that I have the mind that I have right now, where I could think outside the box. And I'm like, yo, bro, he has been through some stuff. One, not only that, they're not far from slavery again. That's what I tell everyone. Especially if your parents are coming from yacht or abroad, like, they've seen some things that you will never see in your life. Some standards of living that you'll never... Those summers that you spent in Jamaica, I'm sure you've seen things that a lot of these kids didn't see, that even myself didn't see. I spent some time in Jamaica, but I wasn't there every summer. I wasn't there. You know what I mean?
We're lengthy there. At one point, they gave me the opportunity just to visit a school. Okay. Not really go to school, but, yo, you fall asleep and the ruler comes out. Whoa, you answered a question wrong. Whoa, you come back from lunch late. Whoa,
bro, it could have been a lot worse.
Could have been, yo. Some of the stories my mom told me from Jamaica are ridiculous, man. I'm not even gonna get into them because we'll be here for days. But anyways, man, Newby,
I do have a question to sort of like. Yeah. Trust me, I always watch the shot clock. I was watching this the whole time. So, us speaking about parenthood and our brought up series, I want to know individually. How do you guys feel, especially with what you've been through? What type of parent style are you going to raise your kids off of? Like, how are you guys going to maneuver when it comes to that? Or do you guys have children yet?
No, not yet.
No, I don't have... we don't have kids yet, but personally, I could say this. Mm-hmm. One thing I could say, being an older brother, because I have two younger brothers as well. As a parent, depending on how many kids I have, it's a matter of spending time with each child and understanding them for who they are. That's beautiful, bro. Not everybody's you can't use the same parenting style for each child, because each child has their own personality. Facts. And yes, as much as, you can use similar styles and, have certain ground rules and all that, you can't use the same style for every child, because one kid might be hyperactive, the other might be a very chill, calm person that you don't have to talk to too much, right? You see? So, just in regards to that, I think it's just a matter of spending time with your kids and understanding who each child is and kind of operating in that way.
I think my answer is along the same lines, but mine's more like on the emotional intelligence side. Because I know for me growing up, my dad was there materialistically, but I don't think he was there as much emotionally as he should have been. Okay. And he's even admitted it and told us and apologized for it. So I think for me, it's more like understanding, emotionally, what does your kid need, right? And then just being there and understanding what my kid wants and how they want to operate and actually, communicating with them in a certain way, because kids aren't stupid, right? They know what's going on. They mimic what you're doing, right? Whether it's when they're younger or when they're older, they're going to mimic at some point, right? So just understanding that and just being there for my youth, man, just having that communication, and again, making sure that it's not one template fits all, because every kid is different, right? Me and my sister are drastically different, right? But, you can still have, your standards and your norms and whatever it might be, but some things might have to differ depending on the child. So just
in terms of discipline, what disciplinary styles would you guys feel like are acceptable for you to follow? Like me personally, I told myself I'll never beat my kids. Well, between 2 and 5, I'll take their hand, slap it, or give them a little pinch for sure, because You know what I mean? Because those are the ages where it's just like, I'm just starting to understand what life is. But once you hit 5, 6, you understand what I'm saying. I shouldn't have to hit you. I shouldn't have to pinch you. Like, from I give you a look and I say something, you should understand what's going on. So what are certain things you guys think would help with disciplining your child when it comes to that time?
Whew.
I think when it comes to that time, and it also, I think the biggest thing is, like I said, understanding your child, because it'll go back to you can't discipline each child the same way, right? So I think when it comes to discipline, I believe open communication is one thing that I want to give to my children. Let them know, like, listen, we're going to sit down and we're going to have this conversation. I'm going to show you where you went wrong. I'm going to show you why it was wrong and why you shouldn't do it again. And as far as discipline goes, in regards to, like, you know, if you're on timeout or, like, you know, take away something from you, like
Grounding.
Exactly. We'll deal with that when we're there. But I would just say, like, having open communication and really sitting down and having those conversations, because yeah, you can have the conversation, but sometimes, you know, a kid might, okay, my dad's just going to talk to me. Cool. I can go do it again. He might just sit down and talk to me. So if there's no change within that, then I think at that point, then we'll figure out what comes next. But to start off, I would just say, like, having open communication.
That's beautiful. A lot of that is lacking, man.
It is. And on top of that, too, like, I think when kids either mess up or do something and you don't have that open communication, you might be killing their creativity. They might be doing something or being nosy about something because they're interested or they want to do something, and, you know, not having that communication and just yelling at them and not trying to understand why did you do that, right? They might be looking into something bigger down the line where it's like, oh, I actually find this creative. I wasn't supposed to do it, but hey, right? It could build up to something later on down the line, right? And again, just to piggyback off him, and again, it's just based on your kid, based on your child, right? Some kids you can yell at, they'll take it, like, yes, mom, yes, dad. Some kids you can't, right? So it's just exactly, just based off of your child, man. But Newby, perfect timing, man. I appreciate you hopping on this podcast, man. This was a great one. I mean, you know, we dove into a lot.
You did.
I appreciate you asking us questions. That's big, man. We really do, you know, appreciate that. But the last thing I have for you, last question I have is, do you have anything that you want to tell the public, right now? Any advice, any words of motivation, affirmation, anything that comes to mind? Time to share.
So the quote of today, and my favorite quote of all time, is all limitations are self-imposed. I literally have it tattooed on my body. I love that quote because what you tell your mind can be your reality. Somebody said what you perceive is what you believe, and what you believe is what you achieve. So that's a gem right there. And I don't know how I freestyle. Like, everybody freestyles here and there, but sometimes I think of some stuff like, whoa, I don't know what that was. But sometimes I think of some random stuff. And I thought to myself, the only way to elevate is to segregate. Just separate yourself from the foolishness and work with like-minded individuals. And you will see where you are in a year from now and be so grateful. Just segregate yourself from the nonsense and be who you're born, destined to be. And that's how I'm going to end it, man.
There we go. And with that, you guys already know, it's Cloud Thoughts Podcast. Find us on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. DM us if you have questions, anything like that. I'm Deem.
I'm Ry.
That's Newby. We out. Peace.
Peace.